Okay, good morning everyone, and we are starting a new Tehillim today, number Nun Zayin 57. It's a Tainus as well, it's a fast day, and Shivasa B'Tammuz, the 17th day of Tammuz, which is the Haschal, it's the beginning of the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash, because as we know, the walls were surrounded on that day. Hufka'ir, the walls of Yerushalayim were surrounded. The enemies began to take it down, and from once that the walls begin to fall, so then the inner city of Yerushalayim is easy to get to and to destroy. Other things happened on this day. Nishtabra Aluchais, Moshe Rabbeinu came down from Har Sinai on the 70th day of Tammuz, and he saw the Jewish people dancing around the golden calf, and he could not tolerate such injustice as he's coming to offer them the Torah. And he broke the luchais. And on that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, Yasha kaichacha, sheshibarta. Good job, Moshe, that you broke the luchais. A nation like this, who could dance around the golden calf, seemingly be involved in Avodah Zarah, in idol worship, right after they received the Torah, which says, believe in Hashem, they don't deserve to have the Torah. We'll try as best as we can to tie today's Tehillim into the Tainus, into the fast day. Maybe there's a message that we can pull out of it. So we're in Nun Zayin 57, and Rav Foyer writes in his Akdama's introduction to this one that it's really based upon something that we find in Shmuel Hanavi, in the prophet of Shmuel of Samuel. And Shmuel says in the story over there is that the Dovid HaMelech had a father-in-law. And his father-in-law was Shaul HaMelech. He was the king of Israel at the time. And instead of them really getting along well, so Shaul HaMelech had a vendetta against Dovid HaMelech, and he wanted to kill him. And Shaul HaMelech is coming with 3,000 men to destroy and take away the life of Dovid. Dovid and his men are hiding in a cave, hiding out, davening to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that everything should go well. And Shaul HaMelech, and this is in the city of Ein Gedi, or the wilderness of Ein Gedi, and David is there, and he's hiding from Shaul, and Shaul finds the cave. And although he should have gone in with all of his men, Shaul HaMelech decides he's going to go in there by himself. It's going to be man against man, David and Shaul HaMelech. And he comes in, and the men of Dovid HaMelech, all of his soldiers, they hear Shaul is coming down the cavern of the cave. And they tell him, listen, here's your chance. You're alone in the cave together with him. We're with you. We got your back, as they say. You start up the fight, and you kill Shaul. Give it in once and for all. What do you need? A father-in-law who's chasing you down, trying to kill you, trying to make your life miserable. Just get rid of him. So Dovid HaMelech finds himself in the following quandary of his own personal bechira, his free will. To kill Shaul HaMelech or not to kill him. He came in there by himself. He's a roidef, which means that he's chasing David down. He has every right in the world to kill him if he wants to save his own life. And Dovid HaMelech is deciding, should I kill him, should I not kill him? Should I do what halachically I'm allowed to do and get rid of him once and for all? Or should I rise to a higher level in this situation over here and decide, I'm not going to kill him, I'm not going to kill my father-in-law, and I'll let him know that although that I could, I'm not that kind of a person. So maybe he'll stop thinking so badly about me. He thinks I just want to usurp the kingdom. He thinks that I want to become the ruler of Klal Yisrael. It's not me, says David. The Navi said that I'm the one that's going to become the king. So what can I do about that? But I'm not out to get my father-in-law. I'm not out to hurt him. So maybe I will squelch my burning desires to rid myself of this enemy for once and for all. And I will remain Dovid HaMelech, the one who is in total control of himself, because he has bound himself together with the Rebbeinu Shalom. So what does David do? He comes to Shaul HaMelech, and it's David, he's got all of his men behind him, and Shaul's all by himself. And he takes out his sword, and it looks as if he's going to go and to slice into Shaul, but instead he lifts up the coat tails of Shaul and he slashes off a corner of his garment. And he says, let that be a lesson to you, my dear father-in-law. I have nothing against you. I'm not here to get you. I'm not here to take you out of this world. He said, instead of taking the knife and slicing into you, the sword and slicing into you and ridding you, all I'm going to do is cut off the corner of the garment of Shaul HaMelech, and therefore he showed Shaul that he has no intention at all to kill. The damage to a coat garment is nothing compared to the life that he could have taken. And although that it's a very dramatic scene over there in the Navi, we're not doing it justice right now, but it's a very dramatic scene over there. And Dovid was entitled to do whatever he wanted to his father-in-law. Nevertheless, he held himself back. And this particular Tehillim, which is this one and the next one and the one after that are all along the same lines, it is Dovid HaMelech expressing himself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that even in the darkness and even in the caves and even in the difficulties of trying to decide what is right and wrong, where once again I'm being chased down by my enemy, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you know that my heart and my soul and my mind, it all belongs to you. And therefore, whatever is going on around me, I'm going to be the one that will bear the burden of the world and the enemies and the nations that rise up against me, as long as I can remain close and dear to you. And Rav Hirsch writes in the beginning of this Tehillim the following idea. He also says that it's talking about this episode between King David and King Saul, Shaul and Dovid. And he writes like this. He says that this Tehillim is called Lamnatzech al Tashches le Dovid. To the one who grants victory, do not let destruction come to Dovid HaMelech. What is the destruction that Dovid HaMelech is referring to over here? And he says that in general, there's conditions that there'll be like a general rule of destruction and corruption that will come to a person, will come to the world, unless HaKadosh Baruch Hu intervenes and puts a stop to it. In this particular case, Dovid HaMelech is saying, in every situation that I find myself in, for one reason or another, I should have been destroyed. The fact that I'm even alive is a miracle in and of itself. Dovid, who was chased down, who was deceived, who was hated, the animosity in the world against him, the accusations, the enemies who came with their swords and their javelins and their spears and ran him into a cave and tried to kill him. Dovid HaMelech should have been destroyed, and in this case also should have been destroyed. And therefore he's asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I need you to make sure that I will not get destroyed in life. Al Tashches means my physical destruction, and also the moral corruption that my enemies are trying to do to me. What is the moral corruption over here? Just imagine Dovid HaMelech for a second, the position that he finds himself in. He's got his arch enemy, his father-in-law, comes into the cave. He's all by himself. He's got David as his soldiers behind him. He's got a sword in his hand. He was miraculous in war and in battle. Dovid HaMelech accomplished things in battle that no other warrior, no other soldier could possibly do. The amount of people that he was able to kill, the size of the giants like a Goliath that he was able to kill, even though he was much smaller. So to kill Shaul HaMelech is something that is easy on the resume of Dovid HaMelech to do. And Dovid HaMelech is asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu over here, Al Tashches, do not let me get destroyed right now. Don't let Shaul come and kill me. But number two, don't let me destroy myself. And this is really what the Malbim says over here. The Malbim writes that there are two aspects to this Tehillim. Number one is Tefillah She'inotzel. Number one, he's offering a prayer to Hashem that he should be saved from the enemy. But number two, Midaber mimashal harges Shaul v'kavash Yitzray. It's also speaking about the fact that he did not kill Shaul Melech, and he was koivish, he subdued his Yetzer Hara. And this was the honor of Dovid HaMelech, that he controlled himself, he subdued himself. There was a Yetzer Hara, an evil inclination that wanted so badly to destroy this man who's trying to make his life miserable. Yet Dovid HaMelech did not give in. And therefore, he wants Shaul HaMelech to see the tzidkus, the righteousness of Dovid. He wants him to understand that he's not a bad person, that he's there not to hurt and not to cause pain and to kill. And therefore, Dovid HaMelech is asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu, number one, do not allow the enemy to come and kill me. And number two, do not allow me to destroy myself. Because a person who will give in to their Yetzer Hara, will give in to the evil inclination that is inside of them, and they will not control it, rather they will let the Yetzer Hara control them, they will become a person of spiritual destruction. And I fought too hard and too long, says Dovid HaMelech, to be destroyed under these circumstances. Although that it will be natural in this dark cave, where nobody will see and nobody will know what goes on over here, that my enemy is standing in front of my face, I could come and kill him if I would like to. But Dovid HaMelech says, Ribono Shel Olam, I will continue to be strong, and I will watch over myself, and I will control the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara will not be in control of me. And this is the heightened awareness of Bechira, of free will, that Dovid HaMelech lived in. He lived in a world where it was him and the Ribono Shel Olam always and constantly, as we will see in this Tehillim. And therefore he's asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu on two fronts. Number one, save me from my enemy. But number two, you need to save me from the moral corruption that I could fall into right now. And that is, if I will give in to the Yetzer Hara that wants to kill my father-in-law, I will have done what is halachically acceptable. But I will then be caught, and I'll be grabbed by the Yetzer Hara, and that I don't want to do. And therefore he says, please HaKadosh Baruch Hu, take care of me. Then he says in Beis in number 2, Chaneni Elokim Chaneni. Please HaKadosh Baruch Hu, have mercy on me. Please HaKadosh Baruch Hu, have mercy on me. Endow my spirit, Ki Becha Chasaya, because in you I have trusted. Nafshi ubetzel kanafecha echese. My soul trusted in you, and I will hide myself in your shadows of your wings, ad yavur havos, until all of this will have passed. Why does David say, Chaneni Elokim Chaneni? Save me or rescue me, endow me, Hashem. Why do you say it twice? Once is enough. Says Rav Hirsch over here, because he knew that he had to withstand two nisyonos, two challenges like we just mentioned before. Number one, this great test that he needed the moral and the spiritual fortitude to overcome. And number two, that they themselves are coming to get me. In the physical sense, I need you to rescue me from that as well. And this is the same idea. Dovid HaMelech realizes that he's in a position right now that he really could do whatever he wants to do. And yet he's asking Hashem, don't let my emotions get the best of me. Don't let my desires get the best of me. Don't let my anguish and my pain and my frustration get the best of me. Let me rise above all of that and do what is right in your eyes, Hashem. Like we learned in last week's Parsha, Bilam HaRasha, he is hungry to curse Klal Yisrael. He is pumped up. They're giving him money. They're giving him cover. They're giving him honor. They're giving him carte blanche. We'll give you whatever you need. You do whatever you need to do. Just curse Klal Yisrael and destroy them. They are an enemy. We don't want them anymore around here. And Bilam is ready to go. He's in the driver's seat. And yet, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, every time you open your mouth, I'm going to manipulate all of your words. I'll show you who's in control. I'll make you give brachas instead of klalos, instead of curses. And because Bilam HaRasha, A man that was running after his desires, running after his Yetzer Hara, running after it all. HaKadosh Baruch Hu shows that the real strength in this world is coming from Hashem. And Dovid HaMelech was saying the same idea. I know, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that you are the ultimate power in this world. If I stumble, it's because I gave in to my Yetzer Hara and I gave in to the weakness that I have inside of me. And therefore I'm asking you, protect me, guard me, hold me close, make sure that I don't fall prey into the moral corruption. That's why it's Chaneni Hashem, Chaneni, twice he asks. And the Malbim says, Ki ha-Yitzhar Chanina Achas, she is Gabal Yitzray. He needs help from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, this Chanina, this favor from Hashem, to be misgaber, to overcome his Yetzer Hara. V'lo yahareg es Shaul b'mar, not to kill Shaul in the cave. V'chanina Hashenis, and the second one is, he needs to find favor in Hashem's eyes. Shel yargenu Shaul acher kach kesheyiru osay. That when Shaul will see David, and he'll see that David's not killing him, he won't take the sword into his own hand and come and kill Dovid HaMelech. So he says, Ki b'cha chasya nafshi. Why should you give me strength to overcome my Yetzer Hara and not kill Shaul HaMelech? Shenafsha ruchani zichoyse b'Hashem. Because my nefesh, my spiritual self, it trusts in you, Ribono Shel Olam. Sheyatzil oisa movay bedamim larg Mashiach Hashem. My soul should not be responsible for spilling blood over the king, the anointed one of Hashem. And since that I trust in you, which is a big lesson that Dovid HaMelech is teaching us over here, everybody has Yetzer Hara. Everybody has evil inclination. Everybody has ideas and thoughts to do things that we know that we should not do. Whether it's to transgress an Avera, whether it is to be lax in our mitzvahs, whether it's to hate another person, whether it's to try to get a person back with revenge and the like. There's many things that we have in our mind to do that we know that we shouldn't do. It's not us. We don't want to do the wrong thing. The Ani, who I really am, always wants to do the right thing. So what's trying to convince me to do the wrong thing? It's called a Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara gets in there and it convinces you that this is the best thing for you to do. The only way that a person is going to be able to combat the Yetzer Hara in the proper way is if they are kibecha chasaya, if they will put their trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, their soul will be in the hands of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they will realize that if I will show my firmness, my affinity to you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'll stay close to you, Ribono Shel Olam, whatever goes on, then that itself will be a schus. It will be a merit on my behalf, that I will be zeichet to be protected from the Yetzer Hara that is trying to come and get me to do the wrong things. So if a person is struggling, and I'm sure that we are all struggling, who doesn't struggle with the Yetzer Hara? One of the keys to our success is how much we trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because when you show that you rely upon Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will then come to your aid. Ekra number 3. Ekra lelokim elyoin. I'll call out to the God on high. Lekel goimer alai, to the one who decrees my fate. Says Rav Hirsch, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in his rule of judgment, he seems very far away from me. Here I am in this dark cave. It's really a difficult situation. My life is in peril once again. And you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you seem to be up there in the Shemayim. Did you forget about me? Are you watching over me? Do you care about me? And nevertheless, says Dovid HaMelech, even when I'm in the darkest cave in my life, and I don't know where my hope is going to come from, nor where my salvation will be, nevertheless, says Dovid HaMelech, I still call upon HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even while I'm hiding out in the darkness over here, because I recognize the only one to call out to in this world is the Ribono Shel Olam, because he is the Goymer Alai, he is the one that is decreeing my fate. When a person realizes that the fate of how they're going to end up, where they will be, how things are going to turn out, it's all coming from the Ribono Shel Olam. When a person recognizes and realizes that, So then, no matter what the matzav is, no matter what the situation is, I can call out to Hashem. And this is the lesson of this Tehillim, and it's the lesson of the Tehillim in general that we are learning over here. That it doesn't matter how bad things look. It doesn't matter how dark the situation is. It doesn't matter how many enemies are piling up against us, physical, spiritual, emotional, and the like. It doesn't really matter. For as long as a person will recognize and realize that you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, are the one, that everything is coming from you, and you are in charge, and you run my destiny and my fate, so then I can always call out to Hashem, and I can be assured that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to answer me. We never have to despair. You never have to worry. You never have to throw in the towel because things aren't going well. It could actually be that the darker the situation is, the more that a person is going to call out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the more they are going to be answered. Because when things are going well and the sun is shining bright, nobody really calls out to Hashem. Maybe if you're a real tzaddik or tzaddikis, you'll end up saying, thank you Hashem. But in general, when things are dark and things are not good, most people are, when things are good, most people are not calling out to Hashem. So where then is a person going to exercise his bakashos, his tefillos, and his calling to the Ribbono Shel Olam? That's in the times when it's dark and you realize you have no place else to go and you have no place else to turn. It's all in the hands of Hashem. And if we will just recognize that and realize that, then this is the message of Dovid HaMelech. Yishlach Mishemayim, I'm skipping number 4, I'm going to 5. And that is, Nafshi b'seich levoyim eshkava, I'm lying down amongst the lions. I'm doing it peacefully. Layatim b'nei adam shineyam. The men around me, they gnash their teeth. Chanis v'chitzim l'shonim cher chados. And their teeth and their spears and their arrows are like a sharp tongue towards me. Says Dovid HaMelech the following. He says, they think that I'm lying here in fear. They think that my enemy think I'm afraid of their wrath and their violence, and they're gnashing their teeth and the like. However, the reality is that since that I believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and I trust in Hashem and everything that He does, so therefore I lie down beside them quietly without any fear at all. A Jew who believes in HaKadosh Baruch Hu can go through his life or her life. They will never ever fear. They will never get anxious. Their heart will never patter like this. The butterflies in their stomach will never churn. Because I'm with the Ribbono Shel Olam. I'm one with Hashem. What do I have to worry about over here? And Dovid HaMelech is saying that as much as they're trying to destroy me, as much as they're trying to bring me down, and they think that they're frightening me, I'm not scared, because I have you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And as long as I have you, there's nothing at all to fear. Perhaps this is part of the Shivasa B'Tammuz. We know that the first of the paronios, of the terrible things that happened on this day was Nishtabru Aluchais, Moshe Rabbeinu broke the Luchais. Why did he break the Luchais? Because when he came down from Har Sinai, he saw Klal Yisrael dancing around the golden calf. Why were they dancing around the golden calf? So Rashi explains, Chazal explained to us, that they miscalculated the 40 days and the 40 nights that Moshe Rabbeinu was going to come down from the mountain. They were 6 hours off in their calculations. I believe 6 hours. And they started getting nervous and panicky. Where's Moshe? Where's Moshe? We don't see him. And the Satan came along and he said, you know where Moshe Rabbeinu is? And he brings a vision of the coffin of Moshe Rabbeinu coming down from the mountain. They said, your leader Moshe Rabbeinu, he died up there in Har Sinai. You don't have a leader anymore. You're all by yourselves in the wilderness. You poor slave nation. 50 days you are from the time that you left Mitzrayim. You tried to build yourselves up. Moshe was your leader. Now he has died. What are you going to do? How are you going to survive in the wilderness? You don't know when you're getting out of here. There'll be so many trials and tribulations you have to go through. Who's going to lead you through and advise you and daven on your behalf? Moshe is gone. What are you going to do? And national hysteria breaks out amongst Klal Yisrael, crying and worrying, concern and anxiety and despair. They don't know what to do. Until Aaron HaKohen says, just bring me all your gold, let's see. Did Aaron intend to build the golden calf? Chas v'shalom, he never intended such a thing. He would never want to make avodah zarah, idol worship, on the heels of the Torah being given. They're still by Mount Sinai. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu orchestrates everything, and he threw in the gold, and out popped an egel azav, a golden calf, and the rest is history. It's the downfall of Klal Yisrael 40 days after the Torah was given to us, while we're standing by the foot of Har Sinai. If they would have believed in Hashem, and they would have trusted in Hashem, and they wouldn't have wavered in their faith because they realized HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in control of our destiny and every direction that we're going to go in. And if we trust properly in Hashem, and He said that Moshe will come back down and He'll bring Kol HaTorah Kula to Klal Yisrael, then we have nothing to worry about. We have nothing to fear. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised us, Moshe is going to come back down. And my soul trusts in you, Hashem. And I know that you're running my life. And therefore, if that is the case, what in the world do I have to get nervous about? Nothing. And yet Klal Yisrael lacked in their amunah, and they lacked in their bitachon at this very crucial moment in their life. And as a result of that, they made the terrible sin of the egel azav, the golden calf, and it changed the course of history of Klal Yisrael forever. The Torah that we have is not the Torah that Hashem gave us initially on Sinai. It is, of course, all the same mitzvahs, but it's a Torah that Klal Yisrael had to work hard for. It's a Torah that Klal Yisrael had to be involved with. It's a Torah that doesn't come straight and directly from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore the Torah is different. Klal Yisrael is different. The Yetzer Hara went back inside of us. We struggle every single day to make the right choices in terms of our avodas Hashem, our learning of Torah, our davening, our midos, and the like. All because of Nishtabra Aluchais. What was the reason it broke? We weakened in our bitachon, in our trust in our Kodesh Baruch, as it says over here. Now, number 6. Ruma ala shamayim elokim Hashem, you are way above the heavens. Nevertheless, your honor is right down here in this world. Says Rav Hirsch, you are high above in the heavens, Hashem, and it seems that you are very far away from us, especially at times when the enemy is coming against me and trying to destroy me. However, nevertheless, your kavod, your glory is ever present in this world. You are with me even here in this cave. I have no doubt, Ribbono Shel Olam, you are with me here in this cave. Your presence is clearly revealed to any human being who knows and acknowledges you and your rule. So everybody's, how many times we talk to me like, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu would come down right now and He'll show me, then I'll believe in Hashem. I can't see you, Hashem. Why is going on what's going on in my life? How come this happens? How come that happens? Where's Hashem? Says Rav Hirsch, you know what Hashem is? Hashem is where you make HaKadosh Baruch Hu exist. Hashem is where you find Him. Hashem is where you allow Him into your life. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is wherever you acknowledge Him and you acknowledge His rule and you understand that there's a Ribbono Shel Olam, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu is right here with you. But if you only live a world where you don't see Hashem, where you're always walking around, Eifo ata, Ribbono Shel Olam, where are you? I don't see you. So then you'll continue to live a life where you don't see Hashem. You create the manifestation and the expression of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in your life because of your belief and your emunah and your bitachon and your knowledge and your perception. He will perceive your nearness even when faced with a situation as this one, in which I now find myself, says Dovid. Other people will learn from me as well, that since, even though that I'm in this dark cave, and I'm being chased down once again, and my life, I could really fall into a pit of misery and say, what's going on over here? If I'm the king of the Jewish people and you love me so much, Hashem, why do you keep bothering me with everybody who's trying to hurt me? But I don't do that. It's specifically in these times that I bolster my emunah, my bitachon, and I recognize it's all coming from you, Hashem. Whatever you are putting me through is because you love me and you care about me and you want me close to you. And you need me to work harder than I'm working right now. That's why I'm going through it. Says further in Tehillim, I'm skipping verse number 8. Ura kevoidi ura hanevel v'chino ha'ira shachar. Awake my honor, meaning my nefesh, my soul should wake. Awaken my harp, and I shall awaken the dawn. That means that Dovid HaMelech is saying over. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to say number 8. Nachain libi Elokim, my heart is good with you, Elokim. Nachain libi, my heart is strong. Ashir v'azem ameira, I will sing to you. And Rabbi says a beautiful idea over here, and that is, all my enemies, they try to hurt me and weaken me and make me fall. That's what they want to accomplish. They want Dovid HaMelech to weaken in his faith. They want Dovid HaMelech to weaken in his connection with Hashem. They want to destroy me. However, everything they put me through worked just contrary. And that is, my heart becomes more steadfast. My attitude is greater towards Hashem. And I feel this calling that I have inside of me, which wants to, a song that is awakened. What is the song that is awakened? That's what we're saying over here. Dovid HaMelech, this is the wonder of Dovid HaMelech. He should sing a dirge. He should be walking around, moping around the world. Nevertheless, at the most bitterest moments of his life, when he's trapped in the caves, in the darkness, where things are not going his way, what does Dovid HaMelech do? Dovid HaMelech gets an inspiration to sing a new song to the Ribbono Shel Olam. That means that in the darkest moments, Dovid is standing up and singing forth the praises of Hashem. He wants HaKadosh Baruch Hu to know, I believe in you, I'm awakened, I'm woke. Dovid HaMelech was woke, lahavdil, alfei, God forbid to say, he was woken up to the prospect that in the darkness is the light of Hashem. In the challenges is HaKadosh Baruch Hu's salvation. In the nisyonos, in the test, will come the ability within to overcome and to pass that test. And therefore, Dovid HaMelech didn't look at his life as misery and miserable. He looked at it all as the grounds to come and to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu more and better. And therefore, he opened up his heart and he opened up his mouth and he pulled out his instruments, the harp and the like. And he began to sing and to play beautiful songs to Hashem. And this is really the key to our existence. That when a person will find themselves in a situation where it is very foreboding and you do have no idea what is going to happen, and you learn how to reach inside of your soul and you find the melody, the tune that is there, and you begin to sing even when your situation is bleak, then you know that you have overcome the regular state of a human being, and you can sing yourself with glory and happiness and joy through any situation that you are in. There is a famous Maisa, I believe that it's with the I want to say it's the Berditchever Rebbe because it makes sense that it should be with him. A famous story that everybody knows. It was once Kol Nidre, and the Berditchever was the Baal Tefillah for Kol Nidre. And he's standing up there to daven, and he doesn't start. And the tzibur, the congregation is waiting. waiting 1 minute, 2 minutes, and he's just standing like frozen in time. He doesn't start. And everybody knows, Kol Nidrei. Everybody knows that melody. And the Rebbe was standing there, he didn't start. Waiting and waiting, they're waiting, and finally from the back of the shul, there's a young shepherd boy who doesn't know an aleph, he doesn't know a base, he doesn't know anything, he doesn't know a single word of Torah. But he's standing there in the shul in the very, very back. He's in tattered rags. I don't even know if he wasn't wearing shoes. It's Yom Kippur. He had nothing really that much to offer. But suddenly, while he's there in the back of the shul, he begins humming a tune. I don't even think that it was exactly the tune of Kol Nidrei, but he begins humming a tune. And everybody starts telling, shh, shh, shh. But the Rebbe raised his hand and he said, let him go on. And this young little boy, from an orphan, no father, no mother, no money, no place, he begins singing this beautiful niggin, this song that he's singing. And when the Rebbe heard the tune that he was singing, suddenly he began, Kol Nidrei. And the whole Tehillim went on, and they davened with all their heart, with all their soul. They cried it all out that night. After the davening was over, of course, they could not withhold their curiosity. Why was the Rebbe stalling in the beginning? Why didn't he start davening immediately? And the Rebbe said, because I was standing there, and at the moment that I was about to open my mouth and daven, suddenly the tune of Kol Nidrei slipped my mind. I could not remember. And I knew that if I could not remember, there must be a reason why such a unusual thing is happening. Who doesn't know Kol Nidrei? And I saw Min HaShamayim that there was a terrible, terrible gezerah against Klal Yisrael at that moment. And we needed something even more special than the regular tefillahs that we're going to have to overturn that gezerah, that decree against us. And suddenly that pure orphan boy in the back, in the tattered rags, without a father, without a mother, with anything, he began to sing that beautiful song that came from the depths of his soul. And I tell you that I saw in Shemayim that the song was converted into raging waters, and it washed away all of the gezerah, all of the decree that was there. And only after I saw that it was away, suddenly the tune of Kol Nidrei fell back into my head, and that's when I began singing Kol Nidrei. And our tefillahs were answered. In the darkest moments of a person's life, in the places where you would least expect to find the niggin, the song that is going to define who you are, that is going to pull out the koiches, the untapped resources that are inside of you. At those moments in your life, you will be able to sing the most beautiful song to the Ribbono Shel Olam. Such a song, it will wash away all of the gezerahs, all the decrees. It will wash away the inertia, it will wash away the impurities, it will wash away the pain. The song that a person will sing that comes from the depths of inside their heart, that is the song that will end up being it will be the niggin. It'll be the main song. It'll be the soundtrack to your life. And if a person just learns from the life of Dovid HaMelech that he was able to do it under all circumstances, then we'll pull out our harps, we'll pull out our guitars, our pianos, our voices, the voice that is emanating from our hearts, and we'll sing this beautiful song. And then he goes on, Oidcha va'amim, I will acknowledge you amongst people. Hashem azamercha bal'umim, Hashem, you are my master. I will sing praises unto you among the nations. Says Rav Hirsch, and we have not seen the language that he's about to use yet. We're 57 Tehillim into it. He's spoken about David's hard life. But listen what he writes about this particular verse. And he says, this is perhaps the proudest word that any man has ever spoken, and the manifestation of which we experience even today throughout all of eternity, which is Oidecha, Hashem, I will acknowledge you. Even when things are not going well, and it's very dark around me, and I've got troubles, and I have sickness, and I have hardships, and I have challenges that I'm going through. I don't know how I'm over going to come it. But Oidecha, Kodesh Baruch Hu, I praise you even in this situation in my life. And that's what he says. Here you have a Yid, a Jew who's in flight. He's persecuted. He's hiding in a dark cave. He's in the midst of a desert in the ancient land of Eretz Yisrael. And in all of his misery, he says, Hashem, my master, you've chosen me to be your servant. I'm an instrument of your will, of your ratzon. Why? So that I should learn how to sing the praises amidst all the peoples of the world. And therefore I'm asking you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, let it be that every experience that you send to me here on earth be turned into a new theme, a theme of a new song, so that I may employ it to broadcast the acknowledgement of you amongst the Amim, amongst the nations, and the recognition of your greatness amongst the powers that rule over men. That means that every problem and every trouble and every hardship and every difficulty and every challenge that you put me through, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what's it for? It's only so that my song should get better and stronger and more of a Kiddush Shem Shemayim, more of a expression of how much I love you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that I never forgot about you, that I serve you, that I care about you, that I understand that everything that I'm going through in my life is only to make me the greatest person I could be. And every situation makes the song even better. You know, there's people that are musicians. You hear their recording, that's nice. But sometimes when you go and you hear them live, and you hear the additions that they add to the song, a little guitar over here, some organ over here, maybe some deeper sounds in the saxophone. What are they adding? They're a different person when they're playing live than they were when they were there in the studio. Who knows what they went through since they were in the studio? Who knows how much maybe pain or anguish or glory they've been through, and therefore they put a little extra of the soul into the music. Dovid HaMelech is saying, everything I go through, it just adds more to the music that I have in life. It makes me greater. And I recognize that everything that you're putting me through is an opportunity to be Mekadesh Shem Shemayim, to sanctify the world around me. Every opportunity that you put me through over here is going to make me stronger and greater and make the sound, the sound of my song even more beautiful and connect with more people. I just recently got a call from a family in Eretz Yisrael. And they raised a beautiful, beautiful mishpacha, and their youngest daughter is what we would call a struggling teen. Very struggling in a Yiddishkeit, struggling in everything. And they live in a very Haredi neighborhood, It's not like there's not other kids, unfortunately, like that in that neighborhood. There's, unfortunately, way too many. And the girl asked if she could get a screen in her room. Not a screen for the window, but you know what that means. That means a plasma TV. I don't know, 40 inches, 50 inches, 60 inches, 80 inches, whatever she wants. She wants a screen in her room. She needs it for her classes that she's taking. She can see things better. And of course, she wants to watch her movies and the like. So they just called to ask, should they get the screen for this girl? And the answer is, of course, yes, they should. That's what she needs. That's what she's holding. That's how they show their ahava, their love, and their understanding of their daughter. But the father was nervous. We're going to buy the screen. We don't have a car, so the company's going to come. The store's going to come and deliver it. Then we have to get a technician to come and install it. It's going to be a chil Hashem. Will it be a chil Hashem? People see the screen coming into my house, and the technician, I don't know, he's going to be frum, not frum, he's going to see there that we're putting in the screen. I said, first of all, everybody knows that you're not putting the screen in for yourself. They know that you're not going to sit around and watch Monday Night Football and watch you and your wife sit there with popcorn and watch your favorite movie. Nobody has any doubt that it's for your daughter. More people than you know that your daughter is not on the derech right now, and they know that she's struggling. They know that the screen is for her. But I said, on top of that, imagine the Kiddush Hashem. When that technician comes into the house, let's say that he's chiloni, he's not religious, and he walks into one of those Haredi neighborhoods in all of Israel, and he sees you with your long beard and your long coat and your big black hat, and your wife with her sheitel and her clothing down to here and her black stockings, and they see your daughter sitting in the room. She's not dressed tzniusly. She's obviously not on the same page as you and your wife are, but they see that you bought your daughter a screen so that she can have what she needs to have in life. Could you imagine the Kiddush Hashem that will make to this technician when he sees a pair of Haredi parents who understand their children and love their children and care for their children, take care of their children? In the darkness, you're only going to find light. And that's going to be your niggin, that's going to be your song. And when this guy leaves the house, he's going to go home and tell his friends, he's going to tell him, "Oy Habibi, ata lo ma'amin, you won't believe what I just saw. I was in this city over here, the blackest of black Haredi cities in the world. And they bought their daughter a 45-inch plasma TV, and they were smiling, and the daughter was hugging them, and they were laughing, and she was happy, and they were happy." Can you explain such a thing? Says Dovid HaMelech, I recognize in the challenges that you put me through, I recognize in the dark caves that I find myself in, with the enemies surrounding me on all sides, they want to kill me. In those moments, I become an instrument and a vehicle for your glory, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and I will continuously sing the song that you put into my heart, into my soul. And therefore he's saying, through my niggin, through my song, through my life, it will bring tremendous recognition to the world. And Rav Hirsch writes to this very day, no other word has ever attained more literal, living reality than this one word of praise and exaltation. And the word is, I'm not sure if he's going on Oidcha, the word is I will praise you, or he's going on Ad Hashem, and that is that you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, are the master that has chosen me to be the vehicle in this story. Whatever I'm supposed to learn, I'll share with others. Now, when I was in Shidduchim, so I dated a lot of girls before I met my wife, and I went through a lot of different experiences, but every experience was a learning curve, and every experience that I went through was in order to teach me lessons. And I was able then to share those lessons with other young men that were in the midst of Shidduchim, and it gave them such hope and such encouragement when they would come to my house for a Shabbos and see married with kids and everything. They realized it's going to happen to them as well. And that's the point over here. What we go through in our lives, we don't ask for the challenges, we don't ask for the stress, we don't ask for the test, we don't ask for it. But if Hashem's putting us through it, it's for our benefit. And it's a benefit that we're going to be able to share with the rest of the world as well. And the next verse, Ki godol ad shamayim chazdecha, your mercy is great up into the heavens. Va'ad shechakim amitecha, your faithfulness, your truth is into the clouds. And Dovid says the following, that chesed, Hashem's chesed can be found all over the world. Wherever there is a creation, wherever there is a creature, wherever there is a living organism or a being, it's only living because HaKadosh Baruch Hu's chesed, His kindness, His compassion is upon it. But Hashem's faithfulness, meaning that He's going to help a person when he's in the clutches of danger, whether it be physical and or spiritual, that can really only manifest itself down here on earth in the person's life itself. Within the bounds of this planet, not above. Yeah, it's the fact that there's Milky Way is Chesed Hashem. The fact that there's a sun, that's a Chesed Hashem. The fact that I survive and I overcome the challenges of life, that's Amitecha, that's HaKadosh Baruch Hu's faithfulness that He has towards me. And you will find His faithfulness mostly here in this world. And just to round off this Tehillim over here, so the Malbim writes the following idea. And the Malbim says that, I guess I'm going back a couple of verses over here, back into the song verse, but he says, Nocha mitzayata eis shenofel shol biyad Dovid b'mara. At the time that Shaul fell into the hands of Dovid HaMelech in the cave, but the men of David wanted him to kill him. But David HaMelech strengthened himself against his Yetzer Hara, and he said, Nochain libi Elokim, my heart is good with you, Hashem. The heart is what rules over the spirit inside of a person. It's strong to be able to overcome my Yetzer. I'm not going to send my hand out against him. And instead, what am I singing about? So the Malbim says that Dovid HaMelech was singing about, since that you gave me the strength to overcome my Yetzer Hara, and I didn't do what would have been the natural thing to do, but I lived on a higher plane, on that I'll sing. And a person that overcomes a challenge in life, a person that overcomes a nisayon, that overcomes the inertia of the Yetzer Hara in their life, they should be singing and dancing beyond belief of happiness. Why? The happiness that they have because they are overjoyed that they have just conquered. There was, I don't know if anybody of you went, but there was just a major asifa, a tremendous gathering of 40,000 women in New York called Nigdashti, I think, which is all about, they were being mechazik the women to know the danger of this thing that sits in everyone's hands today. The danger of the internet, the danger of their telephones, the danger of social media, and they strengthened the women that they should make decisions that are better. They didn't tell them, throw away your phones, go and burn them and everything, but make decisions that are better. Know what you need and what you don't need, what you could live without, what you even think that you can't live without. You'll prove to yourself you could live without it, to behave in a better way. And there's been such a tremendous uprising of fervor amongst the women that went, 40,000 plus. There were other women that were watching it as well. Apparently the tag offices in Lakewood and Borough Park and Williamsburg are overrun with women that are coming with their phones, taking off the certain apps, taking off this, increasing their filter system, getting rid of social media. But one of the stories my son who's learning in Lakewood told me, the story that's going around is the following. There's a sheitel macher in Lakewood. She's one of the most famous sheitel machers, and she has an Instagram page. And she has thousands of followers on there, and that's how she does all of her business. She always posts she posts the wig, she posts the deal she has going on, she posts all the different things. And she makes a very good business. She was so nisrage, she was so inspired by this asifa, by this gathering. She went home and she made a big decision. And she said to herself, I could live without Instagram. It's going to make my business more difficult. It's going to make me have to work a little bit harder. But the Rabbi Shalom is the one who's in charge of the key for Parnasa. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I don't believe, is really happy with me being on Instagram and doing all these things. And as a schus for myself, as a schus for my family, a schus for Klal Yisrael, especially during these times, I'm going to take Instagram off of my phone, and that's it, I'm done. I'll become a regular sheitel macher like everybody else. And so she wrote a major letter in her final Instagram post to all of her followers, explaining that Instagram is not what she wants to be on, not what she wants to spend her time on, not where she belongs. And I don't know if she told them, neither do they, But she wrote it in such a way that if you want to buy a sheitel, here's my number, give me a call, we'll do it the old-fashioned way from now on. And that's what we're saying over here. And therefore this woman is elated beyond belief. The story is like wildfire all around Lakewood, New Jersey. Nobody can believe such a thing. But imagine if she got off of Instagram, how many other women she probably inspired to get off of Instagram as well. And if another woman got off of it, maybe she inspired her sister or her daughter-in-law. Who knows? Nobody knows the ripple effects that it has. So therefore Dovid says, you help me to conquer my Yetzer Hara, I will sing. Songs go out into the world. They go viral. The viral song of a person who overcame the Yetzer Hara. Person does that? Says David HaMelech, that is the way to live. So we're living in Golus, unfortunately. The Beis HaMikdash has not yet been rebuilt. Shivasa B'Tammuz, it's a tightness today. But we have to learn to find our Kadosh Baruch Hu in the darkness. And we have to be mechazik ourselves, strengthen ourselves. We have 3 weeks right now to work on ourselves. 3 weeks to find something, one area in our world as a Jew that needs to be redefined of what it means to be a Jew. If there's no Beis HaMikdash, that means we don't have a place. It was called the Beis HaBechira, the house of free choice. Why? Because when you went inside the Beis HaMikdash, you saw emes, you saw reality. You saw what it means to be a Jew, to be a member of this beautiful nation, to be close to Hashem. And when you walked out of there, your mind was clear. You knew what's right and what's wrong, what's good and what's bad, what's the proper and what's improper. And you started living your life better as a Jew. So we don't have a Beis HaMikdash. But we do have our minds. And we do have our teachings. And we do have our sages. And we do have our nefesh and our neshama and our leiv that also talks to us. And we could decide right now during these 3 weeks, what could I do to be more of a Jew? What could I do to show that I care about Klal Yisrael, I care about the state of Golus, that the Shekhinah has no place to hang his hat at the end of the day? What could I do? Become more of a Yid, more of a Jew. Everybody on their own. You'll find one area in your life that you can improve upon. Just one area that you can improve on. Maybe it'll be you'll take your phone, you'll take it to tag, and you'll get rid of 3 of the apps that you know are a waste of your time. Or maybe not even good. Maybe it is your davening, maybe it is your tznius, maybe it is your kashrus, maybe it is your Shabbos, maybe it is your Yom Tov. I don't know, whatever, everybody's different. But everybody has something that they need to work on. And if we work on that thing during these 3 weeks, then Be'ez Hashem, we will be zeicha to sing the greatest song of all, which is the song that the Klal Yisrael will sing when Mashiach Zidkenu will come. The Beis HaMikdash will be rebuilt, and we'll sing and dance together as one. B'mheira v'yameinu. Have a wonderful week, an easy and a meaningful fast, everyone. And Be'ez Hashem, we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Rabbi Horowitz.
You're welcome.
Beautiful shiur.
Baruch Hashem.
Your Israeli accent is amazing, Rabbi Horowitz.
I'm learning from you.
You sound just like an Israeli. I love it.
Okay.
Take care.
Okay, Baruch Hashem.